The galaxy was burning again, and everyone knew who was responsible. The Vora Dominion, the most feared empire in known space, had started another hunt. Every year, they destroyed planets, took slaves, and spread terror like a disease. Small alien nations fought back, but they were too weak and too divided. So the resistance made a plan, a desperate one, their last hope. They prepared a secret signal, a call for help. This signal was made for an ancient warrior race, a legendary species said to live far beyond the stars. No one had seen them for thousands of years, but old stories said they were powerful enough to shake galaxies. So the resistance sent the signal into deep space, praying someone would answer, but something went wrong. The signal hit a strange gravitational storm, twisted, bent, and changed direction. It did not reach the ancient warriors. It reached a different planet, a place no one in the galaxy wanted to contact. A world, known only by one name, whispered with fear, Earth. The Vora Dominion detected the signal's path. Their scanners showed a small blue planet with oceans, forests, storms, and life everywhere. At first, the Vora commander laughed. To call such a world for help, how foolish, he said. But then he saw the classification of the planet, Deathworld, level 5. Only the strongest species could survive such a planet. The Vora decided to investigate. They sent a scout ship toward Earth, ready to demand surrender. The ship broke through the atmosphere, fire burning around its hull as it entered the sky. Below, millions of humans looked up at the strange falling light. Every government activated emergency protocols. Every military base came alive. Satellites locked onto the alien craft, tracking every movement inside the alien ship. The commander prepared his message. He did not expect resistance. He believed humans would panic and bow to fear. He activated the broadcast, sending his voice across Earth. People of Earth, your world was contacted by mistake. Surrender now and be spared. Human leaders listened in shock. Who sent the signal? What mistake was he talking about? Why was an alien ship threatening Earth? The fear lasted only a moment, then anger replaced it. Earth was not a world that surrendered. The world united quicker than anyone expected. Human warships began to launch. Fighter jets roared across the sky. Strategic command centers filled with officers and scientists. Everyone worked with one goal: protect Earth. The alien commander watched in confusion. He was not expecting such a fast response. He checked his scanners again. More ships were lifting off. More weapons were charging. More energy signatures appearing. He finally realized something terrifying. This world was not weak. This world was not afraid. Earth responded to his message with a simple transmission. A short human voice echoed through the alien ship, calm and cold. He called the wrong world. For the first time, the Vora scout commander felt fear. He zoomed out his scanners and saw something incredible rising from Earth's orbit. Human ships, dozens of them, engines burning bright, forming a defensive shield around the planet. Each ship carried weapons the Vora did not understand. Each ship carried a crew ready to fight. Humanity, the Deathworlders, had answered the call. Whether the galaxy was ready or not, everything was about to change. The alien scout ship fled into the darkness of space, its engines shaking with fear. The Vora commander could not believe what he had seen on Earth. A young species, still new to the galaxy, had risen like a storm and answered his threat without hesitation. He sent a warning message to the Vora Dominion, writing only one line: Earth is not normal. Earth must be destroyed before it grows stronger. Across the galaxy, the message spread like fire. Alien races whispered about Earth, the death world that never bowed. Many were afraid, but many were hopeful. A world strong enough to stand against the Vora might be the world that could save them. On Earth, every nation moved with purpose. The arrival of the alien ship had united humanity faster than any war or disaster in history. Scientists gathered in hidden labs, analyzing the alien message, the alien energy signals, the alien technology. Military leaders talked about defense lines, orbital positions, and battle strategies. Everything was happening fast, like the world had suddenly woken up from a long sleep. The president of the United Earth Council stood in the command center. Before him, giant screens showed images of the Vora battleship destroyed by human fire in Part 1. Around him, officers and advisors waited for orders. "We do not know why the signal came to us," he said, "but if the galaxy needs help, we will not stay silent." Humanity's greatest fleets were assembled. Old space stations that were once used for research were turned into command bases. Warships launched from Earth, from the Moon, from giant orbital platforms. The Earth defense fleet grew larger every hour. No human knew how strong the Vora Dominion really was, but everyone knew one thing: they would not let Earth fall. Meanwhile, the abandoned resistance station, the one that sent the original distress signal, was waiting with fading hope. Their signal was meant for an ancient warrior race, a mysterious species that once protected the galaxy, but no answer had come. Not from legends, not from allies. Then suddenly, their screens flashed with a human symbol. A new transmission had arrived. The resistance watched in silence. A human voice spoke, firm and calm. "Your call reached Earth by mistake, but we will answer it." The resistance could not believe what they were hearing. Humans had never been part of the galactic map. No one even knew their existence except for a few ancient warnings. Yet here they were, ready to fight a war that was not even theirs. On a Vora war station, dark and massive like a mountain floating in space, the High Command gathered. They watched the report from the scout ship, their eyes narrowing. "A Deathworld species that launches fleets this fast is a danger to the Dominion," one general said. "They must be crushed before other species join them." Another added, "The Vora were proud, arrogant, and obsessed with control. They had destroyed hundreds of civilizations, but never before had they seen a species rise against them so confidently, so quickly." Their fear turned into anger. Their anger turned into a decision. The Vora Dominion activated their war machine. Every factory, every fleet, every soldier. They prepared a full invasion to wipe Earth from the star maps forever. A dark cloud of ships began to move, thousands of them, like a swarm of metal monsters, back on Earth. Sensors detected something unusual near the outer edge of the solar system. Human officers stared at the screen in disbelief. A massive energy ripple was forming. Something huge was entering the system. Then they saw it, the first wave of the Vora fleet. Earth's alarms echoed across every base. The president gave one command: prepare the Deathworld defense line. Human pilots ran toward their fighters. Engineers powered up the defense cannons. Warships locked into formation. For the first time in Earth's history, the entire planet stood together. No one knew if they could survive, but every human heart carried the same fire. If the galaxy needed warriors, then the Deathworlders would answer, and they would not answer quietly. The first wave of the Vora fleet entered the solar system like a storm of shadows. Their ships were huge, shaped like black knives cutting through space. Energy signatures flashed across every human radar. Earth had never seen anything this big, this dangerous, or this ready to kill. Inside the United Earth Command Center, tension filled the air. Officers watched the screens as hundreds of Vora ships moved closer. Every second felt heavier than the last. Yet no one panicked. Humans had faced disasters, wars, extinction events, and their own darkness. This time, the enemy was not human, but the spirit to survive was the same. In orbit, the Earth Defense Fleet locked into formation. Dozens of human warships floated like steel giants above the blue planet. Their engines glowed, their weapons charged, and every pilot waited for the order. One ship, the UN's Valor, took the front position. Its captain, Elias Ward, stared at the approaching Vora fleet with calm eyes. "This is it," he said to his crew. "Humanity's first real war in the stars." The Vora commander, General Sarko, appeared on all human frequencies. His voice was cold, sharp, and dripping with arrogance. "Humans, surrender your world," he demanded. "You were called by mistake, and you will be erased for it." Captain Ward replied, his voice steady, "We do not surrender, not to anyone." The Vora general laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Then you will die." Deathworlders. The battle began with a flash that lit up space like a new sun. Vora ships fired first, launching massive energy bolts that cut through the darkness. Human shields trembled under the impact, sparks bursting from consoles. But the humans did not fall back. They pushed forward. Engines roaring, weapons blazing. Fighter squads rushed into the battlefield like swarms of metallic birds. Human pilots dodged impossible attacks, rolled through fire, and struck back with precision. Their movements shocked the Vora, who believed humans were primitive. Yet here they were, moving faster, hitting smarter, fighting harder. On the Valar, alarms screamed, but Captain Ward stayed focused. "Target their command ship," he ordered. His crew obeyed instantly, sending missiles and railgun fire across the battlefield. The Vora command ship shook under the assault. its shields weakening for the first time. General Sarko growled. "These humans are reckless," he said. "Destroy them." Vora shock troop frigates broke formation and charged toward the Earth fleet. They fired rapid plasma blasts, carving through to human cruisers. Both ships exploded in flashes of orange and white. Earth lost brave souls that day, but the fleet did not break. Humanity fought like a species born from storms, forged in fire and sharpened by struggle. Every loss made them fiercer, not weaker. A young human pilot named Ada Reyes flew straight through enemy fire. Her fighter spun between plasma bolts, her movements wild and fearless. She fired a full burst of ion rounds into the engines of a Vora destroyer. The destroyer exploded, sending debris across space. Her name would later be remembered by the entire galaxy. But the fight was far from over. The Vora unleashed their a massive beam that could cut through mountains. It struck the Valar's shields, shaking the entire ship. Consoles cracked, alarms roared, and smoke filled the bridge. "We can't take another hit," the tactical officer warned. Captain Ward clenched his jaw. "Then we end this now," he said. The Valar powered all remaining energy into one final strike. Its main cannon glowed bright blue, humming like a storm trapped inside metal. "Fire," Ward ordered. The beam launched forward, cutting through space and slamming into the Vora command ship. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the Vora flagship burst open like a shattered star. The explosion lit the battlefield, blinding both fleets for seconds. When the light faded, the Vora command ship was gone. The first wave of their fleet hesitated for the first time. Deathworlders had destroyed a Vora command vessel in their first space war. Across the galaxy, alien species watched the broadcast in shock. Some whispered in fear, some in hope. A new message spread everywhere. Earth fights back. The Vora fleet began to fall back to regroup. The first battle was over, but the war had only started. Humanity had survived the first contact war, but the Dominion would return. Stronger and angrier, Earth had won a battle. Now the galaxy waited to see if the Deathworlders could win the war. The smoke of the first contact war still drifted through space. Human ships returned to Earth damaged but alive, carrying the first victory humanity had ever won among the stars. But the victory did not bring comfort. It brought warnings. The Vora Dominion had not been defeated. They had only been angered. Inside the United Earth Council chamber, the atmosphere was heavy. Leaders from every major nation sat around a circular table made of polished metal. Large screens showed images of Vora ships regrouping at the edge of the galaxy. Scientists reported energy readings that indicated something terrifying. The Vora were preparing a full-scale invasion, not hundreds of ships like before, but thousands, maybe tens of thousands. For a moment, silence filled the room. Then the president stood. "Earth fought alone in the first battle," he said, "but we cannot fight alone in the next." Across the galaxy, alien nations watched Earth with growing interest. Some were afraid, some were impressed, and some were desperate for someone strong enough to stand against the Vora. One of the first to contact Earth was a species called the Tellerin Thin, crystal-skinned beings who lived on a world of mountains and storms. Their message was simple: "We saw your battle, and we want to join you." At first, humans were cautious. They had never interacted with another intelligent species before but the Tellerin were honest, calm, and full of hope. They had suffered under Vora rule for decades. When they heard Earth had destroyed a Vora command ship, they felt something they had not felt in years. Possibility. Soon, more species sent messages. Small nations, forgotten colonies, lost civilizations hiding in dark corners of space. They all said the same thing: "Help us, and we will help you." A grand meeting was arranged on an abandoned space station orbiting a neutral star. Representatives from 13 alien species gathered there. Humans arrived aboard the UN's Horizon, a massive ship flown by Captain Elias Ward himself. When he stepped into the station's main hall, every alien turned to look. Whispers filled the room. "That is the human captain who destroyed the Vora flagship. That is the Deathworlder who fights without fear." Ward didn't smile. He knew the truth. Humanity had only survived one battle. The next would be far harder. One by one, alien leaders stepped forward and spoke. They shared stories of lost homes, ruined cities, and people enslaved by the Vora. Human listeners felt anger rise inside them. The Vora had crushed these worlds for generations, but not anymore. Earth proposed a new alliance. Not an empire, not a government, but a united force made of every species who wanted freedom. They called it the Deathworld Alliance. At first, some aliens hesitated. Naming the Alliance after Earth sounded strange, even frightening, but others argued that the name had power. The Vora feared Deathworlds, and if humans led the Alliance, the galaxy might finally have a chance. After hours of negotiation, the final decision came. 13 races signed the treaty. More waited in secret, afraid to do it publicly, but ready to join when the time came, when the signatures were complete. Captain Ward announced the first rule of the Alliance. Every world matters, he said. No species will be left behind. Back on the Vora homeworld, rage shook the throne room. General Sarko knelt before the Vora Emperor. He reported the truth. Earth was no ordinary world. Earth had become a symbol, a spark in the darkness, a rallying point for rebellion. The Emperor's voice echoed across the chamber like thunder. Then we will crush the spark, he said. Prepare the Grand Armada. Millions of Vora soldiers began to march. Factories forged weapons that could split planets. Gigantic warships powered up, engines glowing red like the eyes of monsters. On Earth, sensors picked up a massive energy surge across the far edge of the galaxy. The largest Vora fleet ever recorded was moving, straight toward the Alliance, straight toward Earth. Humanity and its new allies prepared for the greatest war the galaxy had ever seen. Every world held its breath. The Deathworlders were ready, and the galaxy would soon shake again. The Vora Grand Armada moved across the galaxy like a growing storm. Tens of thousands of warships flew in perfect formation, their engines burning red and their weapons ready to erase worlds. Everywhere they passed, stars dimmed under their shadow. The Vora Emperor sat in the command throne at the heart of the fleet, confident and cold. The Deathworlders will fall, he said, and their allies will kneel, but far away, in the space around Earth. The Deathworld Alliance prepared for the final stand. Human ships flew beside alien ships, forming the largest united force the galaxy had seen in centuries. The Telleran stormfighters hovered beside Earth's steel destroyers. The small reptilian Koresh pilots checked their weapons, shaking with excitement instead of fear. The massive Goran cruisers powered up energy shields stronger than mountains. Earth's orbit looked like a shining wall of light and metal, a defense line built not just by humans, but by every species that believed in freedom. Inside the United Command Station above Earth, leaders from all Alliance worlds gathered around a holographic map. At the front stood Captain Elias Ward, now promoted to Alliance Commander. His voice was steady as he addressed the room. The Vora are stronger than us, he said, but they fight with fear. We fight with hope, and hope is a weapon they cannot understand. Every officer nodded. Every soldier felt the weight of what was coming. For some, this would be the first battle. For many, it might be the last. The alarms echoed through every ship. The Vora Grand Armada had arrived. The battle for the galaxy was about to begin. The darkness ahead lit up with thousands of red lights as the Vora ships emerged from hyperspace. The sky looked like it was filled with fire. General Sarko stood at the front of his flagship, his eyes glowing with hatred. Destroy them all, he ordered. The Vora fired first. A wave of energy beams shot toward the Alliance line, shaking shields and tearing through smaller ships. Explosions flashed like falling stars. But the Deathworld Alliance did not break. Human destroyers returned fire, blasting through Vora frigates. Goran cruisers absorbed enemy shots and pushed forward like walking fortresses. Telleran stormfighters danced through plasma beams, striking the weak points of Vora engines with impossible precision. Commander Ward watched the battlefield, his eyes moving like lightning. Push the left flank, he ordered. Protect the Koresh squadrons. Target the Vora support ships. The Alliance fought with courage the Vora had never seen before, but the Vora numbers were overwhelming. More and more Vora ships kept arriving from hyperspace, forming layers of destruction. The Alliance began to fall back, ship by ship, line by line. Inside Earth's command center, panic started to grow. What if we lose? An officer whispered. But the President answered, Deathworlders do not stop in the middle of the battlefield. The Vora Emperor's flagship moved forward. It was a monstrous ship, larger than a city, powered by ancient technology, its main cannon charged with deadly red light. The Emperor prepared to fire a planet killer beam directly at Earth. Commander Ward looked at the screen and knew what had to be done. He took a deep breath, prepared the Valar for final strike. He ordered, the UN's Valar, battle-scarred from the end,